This is the Broilers data entry table, and it's similar in structure to the layers data entry table. The difference, of course, being that I have taken out on this end the egg collections fields, because those are not relevant, of course. And so you would, of course, for the month, whatever month you are on, you're going to start, of course, being a monthly application. What happens is, the minute you've initiated it, I'll show you where you do that. Initiated it in the main menu to start for the first day of a particular month. Then you would begin to make entries, starting with your opening stock for the 3 cage lines, if you have up to that. If not, if you just want, then you make entry. Like here we have 2,900 birds as the opening stock. Then you would begin to post from your the hand filled form that I showed you how to print. You will begin to take the records your people would have filled in there for each day, and you will post for each cage line your mortalities you have. Let's say 3 here, maybe no birds are missing, maybe you transferred 2 to wherever. If you purchase, you will put in there, and then it will tell you your closing stock, but it will also tell you your mortality rate, and there's a calculation it does, which is in one of the articles I sent you a link to. So it's not just a direct calculation, it does a weighted average, sort of, just so that you don't have unnecessary spikes. Now you would also, like you have in the layers table, you would also enter your quantity of feed fed to the birds in that cage line, and it will calculate for you how many grams per bird they are consuming. Like I told you, for instance, for these are broilers, so the feeding rate for broilers, okay, that's the key performance indicator, the performance measure. The feeding rate for broilers is different from layers. So depending on their age, there's a certain amount of feed they're supposed to consume at a certain over what do you mean? What do I mean here? Sorry, there's a certain amount of grams of feed each bird needs to consume. That's what I meant to say. Now you will have to monitor that. So those are things that there are industry standards, but like I said, we don't really have more data in Nigeria to establish. You see, because it's also a function of the nature of feed you are giving to them. How well balanced is it? If it is well balanced, then you can optimize your feeding. If not, you tend to have to feed as much as possible to get the results you want, and then that tends to be wasteful. So this is an area that you will have to, in my opinion, I would say that many farmers in Nigeria for the initial stages will have to actually study their own data and begin to arrive at their own internal standards, and then over time we'll begin to compare data and begin to arrive at some averages and know what the standard should be. But if we were to go to buy textbook, for instance, Professor J.A. Oluyemi's poultry production in warm, wet climates, then there are standards for that. Okay, those are things we'll talk about as you start to use the software. For now, understand what that is doing there and how it's calculated. Okay, and then this here is a very important parameter, average weight per bird. So you're going to be taking samples from the birds. You're going to be taking random samples of a certain number. Usually 30% is representative of a population, and you would weigh them. Okay, all sorts of handheld skills are available that you can use to weigh them, or you can weigh them as a group, and you would arrive at the average weight of the birds. You would, over the first 10 days, over the next 20 days, 30 days, and you will see the weight increase they're achieving. Now in the report interface for the broilers, you will see how I've provided for that, so that we can arrive at a feed to flesh conversion ratio. That's basically what the objective is here. So average weight per bird, they're going to take a certain number of birds and then come up with an average weight, and then put it in there for each cage line for each day. That's ideally what you should do, but you could do that weekly. You could choose to do that weekly, every first day of the week or every last day of the week. You could do that. Just understand what you need to do. It's important because that's how it helps you to see how well your broilers are performing compared to layers, which you can use hen day percentage for. Again, the same thing as well for layers. You just make entries as and when appropriate for the vaccination you've given them and the medication you may also administer to them. And this goes on right from the first day of the month to the last day of the month. For those days of the month that have the 28 days, 30 days, the application takes care of them automatically. If you were to make an entry for February, if you were to set the application to work for February, you will notice that in the table the dates will show right up to, for instance, this is April, so it will be 30 days. If you go down to the bottom of the table, you will see that it shows data up to 30 days and then it goes blank. Okay, Now, so that's how the broilers table works. Let me quickly take you down to the interface where you will specify what month you want to work in. Right, look here, the reporting here you will choose here, and the month you want to operate in you will choose here. For instance, let us go to February. If I were to choose February now, watch what happens in the application. Okay, now if I go back to the same place we just left now, the broilers interface, you will see that the application has changed. Okay, and if you go down, you will notice that it has now readjusted the number of days visible, and so your own focus, you see, it leaves all the others blank. So straight away you know, and that is how it works. It will use that in the reporting interfaces as well. You will not have to be the one saying, oh, I only have 10 days or 30 days or whatever. You just need to focus on your data entry. That is the objective here. Minimize as much as possible the headaches that the business owner has to go through to generate reports for him or herself, and then just focus on analyzing the trends in performance. Okay, so if we come here, you will see that, okay, well, this is the summary for the month. So you will see that it's putting the number of birds I said that died, 3. It's calculated the mortality rate, it's done the feeding rate, and then now here, as I told you, this is the version that is not fully activated. This is where the weight gains are tracked. Okay, no other, as I said, I've not activated it here. In the other copy you'll be getting, this section will have all the formulas in place, and so you will be able to see how the calculations happen. Okay, then so this is called the feed conversion ratio, feed to flesh conversion ratio. Okay, feed intake value of the weight gain.